big story for Nigeria this week was the announcement of Nigerian-born Mohammed Barkindo as the OPEC Secretary General for a second term. The meeting on Monday and Tuesday, of course, concluded that supply cuts among member states will be extended for another 9 months, taking us effectively into the first half of next year. Let's get a bit of some of these issues straight, the news and issues across to Mr. Rewane, who is our economic consultant and chief executive officer at Financial Derivatives Company. Mr. Rewane, good morning. Thanks for coming through to us on Skype.
Good morning, Boston.
Thank you. This is as good as it can get for Nigeria as far as OPEC was concerned. I'm sure you remember very well those years when we had a Nigerian as well as the head of the OPEC for a number of years. What does this say about how the global oil community placed Nigeria in the committee of what happens out there in terms of production, output, investment, pricing, and all of that?
First and foremost, it's a great in terms of being recognized as a global citizen. So the last time we had a Secretary General, it was Rewane. Now we have Barkindo, who actually used to work directly for Rewane. But if you take it in context, we had a situation where we have Akin Additional, we have Orama, and then we now have Barkindo. Those are significant achievements for Nigeria and the current administration.
Yeah, we also have Amina Mohammed at the United Nations.
Yes, absolutely. So, you see that Nigeria has more global citizens than any other African country, all the African countries put together. This is welcome. But having said that, OPEC as an institution, as a cartel, the 14 members are losing control. We're producing only 32 million barrels, which is less than 28% total production. However, because of our collaboration with Russia, we are able to control price and output. To that extent, we have seen the price actually stabilize at about $62 a barrel. It's not too bad. It had gone up to $70 a barrel before now. So I think that's a great development for Nigeria.
You think Barkindo had been a very good diplomat, representing not just the OPEC interest, but Nigeria's interest as well in Vienna? All this political movement is done in the first time. And what's your outlook on him for the second term?
No, basically, once people get into positions of global relevance, they forget their country of origin. He's no longer a Nigerian in that context. He's a Nigerian citizen, but he's the OPEC leader. And therefore, his focus is going to be on what is best and what's the best interest of OPEC, and which includes the Gulf Consultative Council, the other member of OPEC, and to ensure that but Barkindo is a veteran. He's been in this business for such a long time. So he knows what time it is, and I'm sure he's going to give a good account of his own stewardship at this time. I have no doubts in my mind. But let us know clearly that OPEC and the use of oil is a declining function of time. As a matter of fact, Renault announced yesterday, I think, and BMW, that they are going to bring in their first 25 electric cars in the year 2023, 2 years ahead of the time. So the more electric cars you have, the less the importance of oil, crude oil, and its products for the internal combustion engine. So it's only a question of time when we will have more oil than what is demanded.
So we are stepping into second half of the year, Mr. Rewane. So what's your economic outlook for the second half? What do you think we should be doing as we get everything ready for the next 4 years, looking at these global developments and what they mean for one of the very critical resource and revenue point for this country?
The next 6 months is going to be almost similar to what you have in the first 6 months of the month. There are some structural changes that are required, but I think that President Buhari is going to select a team. Hopefully, he selects a very aggressive and active team. And then we have to start making those structural changes. You will not see the impact of the structural changes until maybe another year from now. But the consolidation of what has happened in the last 4 years, you begin to see some continuity of programs and processes. But that's not going to lift you. So technically speaking, I think we are going to see about a 2.1% growth in 2019. However, you are going to see some more stability of monetary policy and an attraction of investments when it comes to the fiscal side of things.
Yes, those inflows or investments into the fiscal side of things was where folks have been talking about the Q1 capital importation numbers, which was heading towards $10 billion. That's good news. But a small amount of that, a meager $243 million, came in through the FDI window.
Yes, no, but you see, if you take a look at that number, there's only $243 million that came as FDI. All the bulk of it are portfolio flows, which is hot money. If you take that $7 billion out of our cross reserve, because those monies are going to go back very quickly. If you take the $7 billion out of our external reserves right now, you are definitely going to be at $38 billion. So hot money is really of no use. It's volatile. I don't think we should be clapping so soon. The money that is going to stay there for a long time is the FDI. And look at it. Some of the money came to buy shares. Some of the money came into the banking sector. So we need more stable, more long-term money, more long-term investments in rail, road transport, pipelines, refineries. What Aliko Dangote is doing needs to be it needs to be recognized and actually respected and admired for the work he's doing in the petrochemical and the refining space, because those are game changers.
So, Mr. Rewane, what will unlock this foreign direct investment pouring like a torrent into this country? What will unlock it? What's the key?
Little drops of water will lead to a mighty ocean. It's beginning to come. When we start changing our policies, when we start being less combative with investors, both domestic and international, you will find that it's going to come. Investors are very sensitive. They look and they don't like to lose money, and they don't like to lose big money. So we have Airtel listing today. We had MTN listing some days ago. We have Lafarge selling their South African business and investing it in Nigeria. So there are some fundamental things that are happening in the investment environment, and they are good, and we need to recognize and respect it. But we need to do more. There has to be sanctity of contracts, and we have to behave ourselves properly. Nigeria has not behaved itself properly in the past few years.
On the subnational level, just about 1 minute, I'm sure you're in the news, so you know when you read some news, there are some new state governors are saying, look, my state is technically bankrupt, and some other states saying, look, my first salary, my first month, I had to call for about 5-6 banks to borrow money to pay salaries. Then there are news of billions of arrears of deducted workers' pensions that are not remitted into the PENCOM retirement savings account and all that. So are you worried that fiscal unsustainability of the subnational is getting to a level in which we need to something akin to a national emergency here?
No, it's not a national emergency. I happen to know is the fiscal condition of the states. We worked on the minimum wage, and there are certain things that we must do. In all, there are 7 of them, and they have the document with them. They know what to do. The federal government knows what to do. If they do it, you will not have this crisis. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to preach to the converted. The truth is that the document is with the federal government. The federal government knows what to do. The state governments know what to do. There's no need to have fiscal crisis in this country. All you have to do is make a few adjustments. It's as simple as ABC. But we have to be honest. We have to be intellectually honest with ourselves instead of playing around. That is the truth of the matter.
Mr. Rewane, thank you very much for ending it on that note, intellectually honest on how we deal with this matter. Thank you so much, and we appreciate touching base with you on some of these stories making the headlines.